Hi everyone, and welcome back to another English with Dry. Today we are looking at the AQA Love and Relationships poem Walking Away, written by Cecil Day-Lewis. Now, in the poem, the speaker recalls the first day that he left his son to go to school and the feelings as a parent he felt. Now, the first thing worth noting is line 1, where he says that it was 18 years ago, almost to the day. Now, that shows that the speaker remembers the moment extremely clearly, and therefore this moment has a great deal of significance for him. He continues with the leaves just turning. Now, any reference in literature to the seasons shows a passage of time, firstly, but the fact that it's the leaves just turning tells us it's autumn, and this suggests that it's heading towards winter. Now, we could interpret metaphorically this winter being the time when the sun finally leaves the home for good, and therefore this being a time where the father feels not sad, but is starting to appreciate this was the beginning of a new phase in his son's life. He then compares his son metaphorically to being like a satellite. The simile compares the speaker to the Earth and his son to a satellite in this orbit. Now, the word wrenched, though, is used. It's a violent verb to describe the feeling of his son being taken away from him. It shows that perhaps he didn't want him to be, and that he wasn't ready for it. He's worried then that, like a satellite outside of the Earth's orbit that relies on the gravity of the Earth, his son will go drifting off aimlessly and uncertainly without his father there to guide him. Stanza number 2, he talks about how he feels pathos towards his son, this word meaning an immediate level of sympathy. The son is evoking pity almost on his behalf, and that's possibly because he sees him as only being half-fledged. Now, this is natural imagery, comparing the son to a baby bird, leaving the nest for the first time. Now, of course, in the animal kingdom, it's very much survival of the fittest, but that's how the speaker is metaphorically referring to this world of school, almost as though this place where his son is going into will punish weakness and not allow it. He's also concerned that the son, who has previously relied on him for a path through life, will suddenly not be able to find one when it's up to him and him alone to locate what is right to do and best on where to go. Stanza 3, he then uses another word describing uncertain movement, eddying. On this occasion, the metaphor compares his son to a seed that has been loosed from its parent stem. Now, he in this simile is obviously the parent stem, but he fears that, much like a seed that is blown away on the wind and it could end up anywhere, that was what will happen to his son if he is not careful. As he goes on, though, he starts to ponder whether or not that this is actually maybe the best thing for a child. He talks about the scorching ordeals which fire one's irresolute clay. Now, these scorching ordeals perhaps refer to the trials and tribulations that everyone faces in their lives, and the fact that the metaphor of clay baking is used suggests that perhaps these things are necessary in shaping who we are as people. He says, I have had worse partings, but none that so gnaw at my mind still. Now, this word gnaw is an adjective, a verb that really has connotations of perhaps guilt almost. And therefore we see the feeling that he has been left with that resonates through the speaker that he may not have done the right thing. However, he immediately begins to soften on this and describes how perhaps actually he did do what was necessary, and compares himself almost to God, who allowed his son too to take his own opportunities in life without a father figure there to guide them. He then finally talks about selfhood, perhaps us becoming who we are, being only possible when you are able to start making decisions and choices on your own. And then he finally ends reassured by describing how his love has been proved in letting go. And so our 5-box summary is as follows. The speaker, Cecil Day-Lewis, clearly remembers his son's first day at school extremely vividly. And he remembers having a sense on this day of anxiety that his son would not know what to do without him there to guide him anymore through his life. He remembers and thinking of the adult world as a kind of jungle, almost, a wilderness he calls it, where survival is only for those who are truly fit, and the weak are punished and possibly going to be cast into a dangerous situation. But as the poem develops, he starts to reflect on how actually it's these, trials and these hardships in life that really turn us as people into who we are and make us the adults we become. And so therefore, finally, in a kind of shift to the present, he's reassuring himself that maybe he has made the right decision in letting his son have this freedom to make these choices on his own, but also find these things out on his own. I hope this has been a helpful video. I'll see you next time.